I've got my top all put back together except for right here. There's a pigtail that's missing that I need to replace. What I want to mention is the oil spot up here on the top cap. There's a reservoir that's in the top cover on some of these machines, and you can see that it's screwed on there. And what you need to do is you need to oil and put enough oil in that reservoir that the wicks start to, you can see how the oil on there is starting to drip down. That's what is feeding the oil lubrication on your machine. It takes quite a bit of oil to put in that reservoir to make that come through. So just make sure that you use, it's recommended to use 10W SAE oil 40 weight in these machines. And so you put it in here, and then you also, do your other slots, but these just take a couple of drops till they get filled up. But the top one takes quite a bit, and you want to make sure that that is coming all the way through to the wicks when you do it. But this works well, and this slides really nice. I can get it to go all the way to the front, and I can get it to go all the way to the back. I just have to kind of like adjust the wheel like you normally would to have it do that. But yeah, it looks good. So good luck, and I'll show you the rest of what I've done on the inside. So what I'm using is, I just took a little natural bristle brush, and I've got some acetone. And I put the acetone in a glass jar just because it's easier to use. Don't use plastic because it'll melt plastic. And I'm brushing it on these parts at the bottom of the machine. And basically what it's doing is it's just melting off that old oil. So it's a little off balance, but I can use the hand wheel to turn. And as I turn, I'm wiping to help a little bit of that loosened oil get off. And, it's turning out really nice. Somebody said to use a toothbrush. And, the toothbrush it works great. So, it's a little easier to get into, has a softer bristle, but it's more direct. And thank you for whoever recommended that. Now, there's a spot on here that regulates your stitch, and that's this knob right here. And this needs to glide pretty easily. And your wheel, if you loosen your wheel just a little bit and slide this at the same time, it it lets that slide smooth. There is a spot here that is right here, there is a nut, or I don't know, it's part of the bolt. And that, if that gets real caked with oil, what it does is it isn't going to let that slide real well. So you want to get in there and loosen that up with your acetone. And, however you can manage to get your brush in there is good. And, slide that knob back and forth while you do it. I had taken the knob completely off and set it back on, but it slides freely when I have that flywheel kind of loosened, your hand wheel. There is also a small screw that does this connection on the machine right here. So that screw is located on, hang on a second. That screw is located right here. If I can get this to focus on the machine. Let's see here if I can get this rotated. See the screw right here? It's this little screw right here. You have to use a smaller screwdriver. If you take that screw, I actually removed it, and it opened up this connection right here. There's the screw on the outside, and it opened up this connection between these two parts, and that loosens this arm right here, or whatever it is, that this slides into. That's your stitch regulator. So you might want to take that knob or that screw and unloosen it, and it'll free that arm up, and then get your acetone in there really well and get that cleaned up. So I actually did this machine, and I'm coming back to do it again, because in between I've done two others. I've done this one and I've done this one, and somebody told me about that little screw connection, and you can see it right there, and it works wonders as far as loosening that and getting in there, and then getting that nut right here. Where is it? With my screwdriver, I can point it out to you. This nut right here, you want to get that cleaned out as well as you can in between there. And then I came back and I used some of this grease. It's just a synthetic grease. And I greased this slot really well. And I greased this nut inside really well. And boy, it really made a difference. Of course, I put the screw back in. And I actually found out that if I back that screw off, like from original about a half a turn, it made a big difference. But this is turning out nice. The original spring on the one I started on is that I have another one I'm working on at work. That spring was black. So, you know, this is a silver spring, so it's not the same one I started with. I don't want you to think I cleaned it up that well. But here, you can see how the acetone, it just is melting off that old caked grease. And then I'm going to come back again and, of course, you know, wipe this. But after I'm all done and put everything back to where it originally was, I came back before I put the covers back on. See how clean this flywheel is, or whatever kind of wheel it is? I mean, that's really cleaned off a lot of that old grime. So after you're completely finished, put your machine back together and, you know, see how it runs. I ran this and I got a good stitch, so I was happy. And it's where the chain here, of course, this is the chain that goes down through the table that operates the foot pedal so that your arm will, you know, release. And yeah, it worked out good. I think that a little bit more arm, you know, working on this, and it should be set. But before I put it back together, I greased this knob all the way around. I greased this one. I greased everything and oiled everything real well, start to finish, from the top to the bottom. And it made a difference. So the machine is running real smooth, and I'm happy with that. The front disc on this assembly, I put it back together. That screw goes down into and connects to that post underneath. That's good. And you can check Bonis Sale and Services website for parts list and you can download a parts list catalog off of their website. And if you need any parts for your machines, you can order it. This one I ordered a pigtail. I need a thread tension disc set up on the top. But in between, what I've done is I've swapped the thread tension disc from one machine to the other, so I know these are working good. And I've got my loopers all shined up, and you know, they work good. So take your time, just if you have a machine that you're working on, and you know, it's worth it to fix it. So good luck, and if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them if you put it in a question or the comment. And like and subscribe to McCormick Leather and Furs. Thank you so much.